Hello, I'm CZ Lumen and this is StarCraft2. The match I have before you is a game between Gold and Bronze League. We're gonna let you try to figure out which one is which. In the top right hand corner we have Adams playing as the Terran species. The bottom left hand corner we have MrSLOW playing as the Protoss. I've already seen how this game plays and it's not bad. Between two players who are getting good at the game, climbing up that ladder. This is pretty much what you'd expect a couple of players to play out. A little bit of base building, a little bit of fighting. One wins over the other. And as you can see, it's a pretty quick match. 9 minutes and 20 seconds. We're 40 seconds in. Let's watch this play out. I'm going to skip ahead, excuse me, just a little bit so we can get to this a little bit more action. Both players are building a pretty much standard build with Terran going with the barracks first. There's not a whole lot of options to go. I mean, he could go with a really greedy second command center to try to build up that economy. Protoss could also do the same and building a second nexus before building a gateway. Both players opted in order to build army units first to make sure to have that anti-cheese option with a small army at least. Terran, both players basically put down the second command center or second expansion pretty much on the nose. So that is a good sign that at least both players are about evenly matched. Reaper going across the field in order to try to do a little bit of work. Harassing, maybe kill a few probes, we'll see. Oddly enough, there was a probe just asking to get decimated, but a stalker came in, stopped it. Hallucinated Phoenix, made by the Protoss sentry here, flying across the map for a little bit of scouting, and defending the probes in the mineral line. Not sure if the Reaper could have gotten away with killing any of these probes with the sentry standing guard, but Terran gets a good view of what to expect. If he knows what he's doing, he loses the Reaper. If he knows what he's doing or what to look out for, he can know that the Protoss went double gas, fully saturated for both of them. A robo facility, which gives him the opportunity to pump out observers and a few other critical units that might be able to play against him, as well as some early stalkers. Two bases for the probe versus a base that's only now landing for the Terran. Little on the slow side. In fact, we can see that the Terran is lagging behind in terms of playing that Sim City. 25 workers compared to the Protoss 39, soon to be 40. Meaning that Terran is playing with a little more than half of the resources that the Protoss gets. Protoss is bringing in 1,500 minerals per minute. Terran is at 1,000. Now, finally building up more SCVs in order to saturate both bases, but still lagging behind. 3 mules go down, and let's see how much that compares. If we look at the income graph, well, we don't have a graph, that would be nice, but Terran 600 gas versus Protoss bringing in 600, almost 700 gas per minute compared to Terran's 200, which is basically limiting the tech options. If you have minerals, that gives you more basic options on what resources or what units you can pump out with no, I think every single upgrade requires gas to some extent. So Protoss building up a third base, fully saturating both bases pretty quickly. He should be pumping out a few more probes to get ready for that third base to be get going. He has a little bit in the bank, probably more reactionary to like get ready for an attack. This lets him warp in using the warp gates. Zealots or stalkers depending on what he needs. So having that auxiliary cache just in case isn't a bad idea. Terran, however, goes fully defensive, building 2 missile turrets on the back of both mineral lines. A little bit of overkill. You only need 1 for detection, as well as at least moving away air units, especially since you have Marines to be able to back that up. Splitting your Marines with one missile turret should be able to ward away or at least slow down any kind of air attack that the Protoss might give. Oh look, we got a little Cyclone in the middle of the base up here. Cyclones are really good long-range harassers, but basically made out of toilet paper as far as armor goes. So you want to make sure they stay in the back of the line and are pretty well protected. Very sensitive. Gotta treat them very cautiously. You don't know when they're gonna get angry or run away. They're fast for a good reason. Protoss, see what I mean? We have almost a fully saturated third base, giving him 59 workers and almost double. He's closing in on doubling the income. Never mind, I spoke too soon. Terran is caught up on the gas production and still lagging behind, but not as much now. 40 workers versus 64 workers. Now this is, the army supply is something that always fascinates me in StarCraft and really tells me like the balance between the game, because in pro games or any other matches, I will see these massive armies clash, right? With an army supply generally pretty much equal between two players. One might have more, one might have less, but at the end of the fight, the army supply stays about equal. Unless it's like a one-sided victory, but you'll see like one side of the army like make huge gains and then the other side like somehow makes it back. And it's just absolutely exciting to watch. So here we see like the army supply, even with the Terran lagging behind a little bit here, we basically see that number stay about the same. Actually, Terran pulling up ahead, even though they are behind economically, and with an actual offensive bonus of an upgrade, with a more expensive army as well. Oh, well, half the gas, less army. So army value-wise, Terran has, wow, never mind, that just jumped up for the Protoss. 76 versus 64 army supply. So, watching this move out, what's going on here? Here we go. Here's the snapshot. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see here. This is the Terran forces. We have a Cyclone, many Marines. We're going to actually look. I want you to predict to me who wins this fight. We have 26 Marines, 7 Marauders, 3 Siege Tanks, and a Cyclone, 4 Vikings, and a Medevac. These guys are going to meet somewhere around here versus 17 Stalkers, 4 Colossi, and I think the Zealots are at home. So, and a couple Sentinels. All right. Gonna start, and now we're gonna keep it nice and slow, just so you can see this play out. Terran, head slightly above, is totally spotted by MrSLOW's observer, so MrSLOW knows what's going on. Here, we're gonna even give. This is what the Terran sees. Terran, now seeing what he might be up against, he has no clue before this moment what kind of forces he would be up against. It could be carriers, it could be a bunch of Zealots, but this is it. Siege tanks aren't sieged, a bio army massed up, and this is what every Colossus wants to see. A huge bio army just waiting to get laser faced. That's exactly what's happening right here. These just chomping at the bit. We look at the Protoss pieces, or Protoss vision, and yeah, just look at this. Those observers, he even saw them walk out. He knew what was going on. Great observer situational awareness. More money in the bank than the Terran, more workers, higher army supply. We're about to see this fight. Now, the Terran have the advantage of clumping up their forces, advantage, I say, and being able to hit this before the reinforcements arrive. Let's see how this plays out. And you know, where you already, hopefully you made your guess on who's going to win this. Stalkers teleport in or blink in, sorry. Go for the flank. And that army is cleaned up. No scattering, no extra tactics or strategy here. Just a full-on slaughter. And this, like I said, this is one of those cases where, I mean, Terran has 9 army supply left versus 50. It's pretty brutal. That's a one-sided fight. Like, Terran right now, he knows that there's forces there. He's pumping out everything that he can, but this is it. Knowing this, if you were in this guy's seat right now and was given a minute, do you think you'd be able to hold off these forces? This is a pretty sizable army. But siege tank up there, wall off up there, get your command centers in the upper area, evacuate your SCVs. Might be able to hold off. But this is... GG is called. Rough game. And if you guessed who was bronze and who was gold, we have the gold player playing as the Protoss, bronze player playing as the Terran, and this came down to more stuff beats less stuff, as Mr. Loco loves to say. Better economy, better base building, and just a clean fight right there. No, nothing too complicated. I wish you all a good night.